That is so cool. What's going on, guys? I hope you are having a fantastic day. If you're new to the channel, my name is Parker Nierenstein, this is Vehicle Virgins, and today we are in beautiful London, England, visiting my friend Zach at Zach's Garage. Behind me are some of the most exquisite automobiles in the world, and this is just one of 7 rooms. So I can't wait to take you through this collection. You know, some people have incredible collections of just new hypercars. Some people have collections that focus on really old classic cars. But this is one of the most eclectic group of vehicles I've ever seen. So we'll bring in Zach here, who's gracious enough to give us a little tour of the garage.
How's it going?
It's going well. Better now.
Welcome to England.
Thank you, sir.
Making this your first stop of the trip.
Yeah, this should be good. Very exciting. Yeah. So I definitely, at some point, at the end of the video, want to go into detail on this gorgeous Koenigsegg Regera. I kind of associate this car with your face. I don't know if you know that or not, but...
most people have my name saved as Zach Koenigsegg, or Zach's Garage, in brackets Koenigsegg, or Blue and Gold, whatever the hell it is.
Fair enough.
That's fine.
But the incredible part is, as absolutely insane as this car is, there's so much other insane stuff in the collection. Indeed. So if you don't mind walking us through and seeing some of the awesome stuff.
For sure. So obviously we've got the Koenigsegg, which we will go into in a bit. We have a P400S Miura. The Miura was featured in the Italian job, not this specific car, but this specific car was the Miura that Lamborghini took to pitch to the presenters and the idea people for the Italian job. So this was kind of the car that made the Italian job have the Miura. It features wing mirrors and the cloth inserts, 2 things that are very rare on a Miura. I also had it signed last year by Fabio Lamborghini.
Wow.
Which is kind of cool. And in a few months' time we got Valentino Balboni coming over to do some
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, but before the collection started, this was the daily driver pretty much.
No. So what is this actually like to drive? Obviously it's the original supercar, it's gorgeous, it's valuable, but what's the actual honest driving experience like in a Miura?
So it's... as long as you're not, if you're about my height or smaller, you're okay. You're never massively comfortable. But
it's made for little Italian people, I guess.
And I'm certainly not little nor Italian. But the thing is that whilst you're driving it, you know you're in a Miura. So there's a level of uncomfort that you can go to because you're in a Miura.
That sounds like a Countach. That's like the explanation of a Countach.
That's why they're so similar. Moving on, something that you're probably very familiar with.
Always a great classic.
Yeah.
You got the Semi recently, or?
Yes, this is the most recent car I've had at the museum, actually. So
wow.
I thought this was just a great idea because first generation Aventador happened to be a roadster, so it's nice on days like today. But,
absolutely.
I think personally this car is going to be a proper future classic because if you think about cars that have been really successful in terms of values, we don't collect for values, but the Aventador was the most popular V12 Lamborghini ever made. So why not buy the first of the iterations of the Aventadors and untouched, apart from it's straight piped. So. Oh,
okay, good. It's straight piped, so don't worry.
That's okay. That's okay.
And then we have the airport Uber that you picked me up in, the nice Pista.
Rosso Corsa Fiat 5000. So yeah.
The Rosso Corsa Fiat 5000. That's hilarious.
We've got the 25th anniversary Countach, one of very few in the world that was in right-hand drive.
These things are difficult to drive. Do you agree with that?
No.
No?
I am one of a very rare breed that believe this car is possibly one of the best driving cars out there.
Well, that is... you like deserve a round of applause from car enthusiasts worldwide for saying that.
And people who know me know I drive it a hell of a lot. So...
Really? That's awesome.
Ask Tim when you see him at Goodwood. I drove this up to his, it started missing, took the plugs out, put the plugs back in, drove it on another 3 hours to Silverstone. So like, I drive this, I love this.
No way. That is incredible. Nuts. One of the most spectacular classic cars in the world, 300 SL Gullwing.
So this
and this you also daily drive?
No,
just kidding.
Not. This car is actually pretty much delivering mileage from factory.
Wow.
So we bought this in 2004, had a very, very long restoration. Delivered back to us at Pebble Beach, and it won Pebble Beach. It's won numerous concours.
Which year was that, do you know?
I couldn't tell you, I know I was very young.
Okay, gotcha. Oh man, that doesn't get much cooler than this.
to give you an example of how good the restoration is on this, the engine bay is probably the best engine bay
wow.
of any classic car you'll ever see.
That is exquisite.
And when I say delivery mileage, it's 1,000, I think it's about 1,000, maybe it's 1,500 kilometers since
Gotcha.
1955. So
That is pretty low for, what year is this? A 54, 55?
55, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's got the picnic baskets in the back that's never been
Yeah,
opened.
that is very, never been opened.
Never been opened. We may have been scammed completely.
What if there's like $10 million in there? I guess you'll never know.
I guess we'll never know. Good luck to the person who, if we ever had to sell cars, they get a great buy, I guess. In terms of more Lambos, we've got the 400 GT. This is one of only 4 in the world in right-hand drive. So,
Really?
yeah, so this is a special car.
I feel like this is one of those Lambos that's a bit unloved because of the way it looks.
Has the same engine as the Miura, drives exactly like the Miura, apart from it's super comfortable, and I think it's styled gorgeously. So actually, for the people who own one, who have been in one, they instantly get it. It's a really, really lovely car to be in.
Actually, I've never seen one on the road. I think really only in the Lamborghini Museum.
And mainly you'll only see 350s, because they were a bit more comfortable
Gotcha.
than 400. Because they sort of went, 350 was the big, oh look, it's the first Lamborghini.
Sure, sure.
And they went, 400, now move on.
The modernized version of the 300 SL.
In matching colours, may I add.
Yeah.
So that
Oh
was,
wow, legitimately the same color.
That was a buy.
Wow, that
And
is
this was
nice.
Ex-David Coulthard car. So this is the car that he was given for the promotion of the SLS AMG. 365 GTC4, known as the Baby Daytona, because after the Daytona, they effectively adapted it. Power steering, more power. I would say this is in the top 5 of the greatest classic cars to drive
Wow.
I've ever driven. I'm opening this up expecting it to be clean. It could be dirty because we have just driven it, so. But it should be. Yeah, it's pretty clean.
Wow. Look at that. Even the back of the hood is covered in quilted leather. That is cool. Can you believe after all that, one, your wealth of knowledge about these cars is incredible. So congratulations, that's impressive. And two, this is just the first room. So now we're gonna move on to the next. And it honestly just gets better and better as we go along.
Morgan Jack 3-wheeler.
That is pretty darn cool looking.
And that is the engine completely on the outside. There is nothing on the inside.
I mean, is that effectively a motorcycle engine?
Yes. Fraser Nash Le Mans. This is actually going to Le Mans in 2 weeks' time. So.
And racing around the track?
Yes, oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. The start of the big grill trend right here. Those are some big kidneys. Bet those would sell for a lot on the black market.
BMW invented the steering lock.
Really?
So actually, I don't enjoy this. So if you see just there, you see how where you put the key in on the side next to the door, just there. Mm-hmm. So for days we couldn't start this thing, then we realised that is actually the first. So basically, it just puts a bolt through the steering column.
Oh wow!
And BMW were like, oh, that's an anti-theft device. So BMW actually came up with that.
It's such a good anti-theft device that even though you own it, you couldn't turn it on.
So, yeah, but the stupid thing is, we put the key in thinking it was ignition.
Yeah.
So we're turning it, going, oh, it's not going to work. Then we found another key next to it. So there's two. It's a bit of a nightmare, really. For 2 years, Oldsmobile did custom suspension. Well, I say custom. It was like a special suspension where they had padding in between the leaf springs. The leaf springs broke on this. You can't get the padding, so we took the body off. Give it a full restoration, a light restoration, and it's now an air ride. So that's
wow. Cool. And now is this a single-seater sports car here?
This is a BAC Mono 2.
It looks high-tech. Honestly, this is awesome, whatever it is.
Well, this is the Dalek from the Tom Baker series, and you say it looks high-tech. Check this out. I bet you weren't expecting that.
I was not. Oh my gosh.
So when
have you ever driven it around?
Yeah, loads of times.
Full review coming soon.
Yeah, exactly. This Dalek was the only Dalek on the whole set. It was based on an electric wheelchair. This was a sink plunger. This was a paint roller. They actually actively use it and drive it. So they attached a fire extinguisher with green foam in it, so they could green screen the lasers. So that would come out of here, and it drove around. These all light up, and everything all lights up. So yeah, quite a cool thing.
That is way cool.
We have the Sunbeam twin cam. For the European people watching this video, this was the first car ever to be revealed at the Paris Motor Show.
Wow, very cool.
Albus Steve 20 Vandenpla. So
that is classy looking.
So Vandenpla is the type of body, it means you've got like extended arches, the roof, and back in the day, so this one was spec'd for wedding use, And back in the day, it was rude, get this, it was rude to be seen driving a bride and groom with the roof up and the driver being covered. So if it was raining, the driver had to get wet and the groom and bride would have to sit in the back and not be wet. 3.8 Mark II Coombs car. So Coombs did the race stuff for Jaguar, and this is one of the only Jags in the world with the Coombs bonnet, the black wheels, the extended spats, and the tune from factory. Effectively, imagine Brabus, but on a microscopic level.
Sure.
2 or 3 cars max. Not a year, ever. The latest edition.
This is gorgeous. I love the color.
Yeah, so that's Midnight Sapphire Blue. It's a 2020, late 2021 Rolls-Royce Ghost. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, why didn't you buy a Phantom? Drive the new Ghost, then tell me I should have bought the Phantom.
I actually haven't driven the new Ghost yet.
This is better. Because it's smaller, it drives smaller. The Phantom drives really big.
Yeah, it's a large car.
This drives very small. The rear steering, the 4-wheel drive, it just makes it, I mean, genuinely really quite something.
Is that a Peel P50 over there?
That is a Peel P50, yes. That is the world's smallest car. And also, for
that.
the Europeans on the channel, this was on Britain's Got Talent, driven by David Wyatt. Piaggio 850, this isn't ours. We are engine swapping, actually, both of these are having an engine swap.
With Hayabusas, or?
Not, you joke. This was 50cc, it's going to 125.
Wow, okay,
And
that's
this was
legit.
50cc, and I think this is going to 500. So,
Oh, wow, that's
I
legit.
think, maybe. Then right behind you, going to flip this over, is a 1939 Le Mans. It's a V12 race car, of which we're going to try and get Parker out in at some point as a passenger, because this thing...
That would be incredible.
This thing is crazy.
It's absolutely gorgeous. I can't believe after all this, there's more rooms to go to.
Yeah, hell yeah, let's go there.
This room is pretty spectacular. If you guys watched yesterday's video, we took out the Caterham 620R, which has an insane power to weight ratio. Zagato definitely knows what they're doing in terms of design work. How many of those did they make?
I believe, don't quote me, 150 cars.
I'm quoting you right now.
You're quoting me right now. This one finished in Skyfall Silver with red carbon everywhere.
Aptly named. Yeah, look at this. It's not just a red tint, but red carbon fiber.
But get this is a weird one, right? When you open a Mercedes S-Class boot, press the button, it lovely opens up. Check.
Yeah, what, this one shoots like a rocket?
For
Or
some reason, it's so aggressive.
I'm excited. I've never seen one of these open up.
Come to this, so it's
Okay.
a button, but just watch. It doesn't open up quick. It's just look how quickly it pops open.
Oh, wow. That is pretty aggressive.
Still makes me jump. Anyway, moving forward, we have red carbon on the inside.
Oh, of course you would. Yep.
And it's actually got the protection mats from factory. They actually come standard. So.
Now, what is this little three-wheeler over here?
That is a Sinclair C5. So this is a fun one. Clive Sinclair, a man who thought he was a genius when it came to bikes and things like this. This was meant to revolutionise travel. And it did. For all of a very short period of time, and I'm talking about maybe a month or two, because they were an incredibly cheap way of getting around towns. They had the battery, you could pedal them, whatever it was, you could do it. Now there was one slight problem, there were still cars on the road, and they weren't so small. Now, imagine you are said car, the bumper is about here, right? Car slowly drives.
Yep, decapitated immediately.
Watch, ready? Boing.
Oh. That's safe.
So yeah, it just plows through you. It doesn't even decapitate you, it just squishes you. So they very much got shut down and now are no longer road legal. But that one is a brand new one. I say unused. I do use it because I think it's quite fun. So
It is pretty cool.
it's quite cool.
This is a spectacular Ferrari.
So we've got 250 GT Gran Turismo Buono body. Buono being this style. You know, people had like a shooting brake as a name, this is a Buono, so quite pretty there. 964 Turbo S Lichtbau Wishes car. For you Porsche fans out there, that'll be quite something.
Look at the factory spec on this car. The purple wheels matching.
Gold calipers.
Interesting color combination, but somehow it works.
A very red and pretty awful interior, if you must ask.
I kind of like it. The dials should be a different color.
Yes.
The dials aren't doing it for me, but the rest of it is pretty breathtaking.
But check this out. This is. But like, I'm not that au fait with Porsche, right? But one thing I do find incredible, don't quote this on one funny meme page. It's how they can fit so much stuff into such a small space. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it does take a bit of design to work out every inch of that car has been designed, even to the sculpting of this, so it fits. I mean, they haven't left a millimetre on the back end of this. And then with the big old ducktail on the back, just...
That looks pretty spectacular. Porsche, I feel like you need to bring back the ability to see the engine. I hate that you can basically see the cap to put in oil and coolant, and that's about it. What is this death trap?
Chevron B15, or 15B, or one of the two. It's ex-Formula 3 car. When I said ex, it was a Formula 3 car. But what's quite cool, if any of you have seen Rush, this car, not in Rush but in real life, was a part of the Formula 3 race. That it was the first time that Niki Lauda and James Hunt ever raced against each other in Formula 3. And if you watch Rush, this is the first car you see in the film, this actual car.
Look how small that interior is.
And the fuel tank is here.
Oh, right underneath you.
You just sit all around it. So
as safe as could be.
It's A-rated safety. It's basically a Volvo.
All right, now this is the coolest Twizy I've ever seen in my life.
This is a Renault Twizy F1 car. Ironic considering it's got Formula 3 bits on it, but it's got Formula 3 front splitter, Formula 3 side skirts, and rear wing and rear diffuser.
And these are actual parts from a Formula 3 car? Not just modified?
No,
wow.
These are actual bits.
Why did someone create this? I appreciate that they created it. I just don't know why.
Do you remember the yellow Veyron that was like had a body kit on it? Done by
Maybe.
Oakley Design?
Yes.
So Oakley Design basically said for everyone who spends over X amount of money gets a kit for their Renault Twizy. But there's only 5 made.
Because everyone who has Veyrons have Renault Twizys, is that?
There was only ever 5 made, and we were worried that we made a bad financial decision when we bought this. And
I don't agree. I quite like it. Some casual Formula 1 cars over here.
Yep, these are running cars. They have engine, gearbox, can start, but we won't because we don't have the computers and all that jazz. This is Thierry Bouston's 89 car, I think it's 89. And this is Mark Webber and Nick Hadfield's 2005 car. Wow. And if you guys want to see the craziest era of Formula 1, look up this car, 2005 Williams.
V10, nearly 1,000 horsepower, tons of downforce.
950 brake.
Wow.
V10, and yeah, just absolutely crazy.
Look at the wheel on that.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Have you ever driven this?
Not this one, no, because it takes a real man. It takes a man to drive a car like this. It takes a real man to know that he doesn't have the capabilities.
Fair enough. I respect that.
I would hurt myself in this, so.
Beautiful Cobra.
Yes, this is very pretty. This is a 427 SC continuation car by Shelby. So it has the 7-litre 427 engine in it. And yeah, it's just schizophrenically fast.
This thing is absolutely spectacular.
So this car, there is an infamous or famous man who owns the brother car to this, Dan Bilzerian. And you can see his car thrash a 458 going down a mile straight. So that gives an
pretty quick.
How fast it is, yeah.
Split window Corvette next to it. This thing is beautiful.
63 Stingray, with possibly the best license plate you'll ever see.
Oh, okay. Is it on the front or the rear?
Both.
All right. I wonder what year car and what car this is. I have no idea.
Because I keep bloody forgetting the date.
The splint window design is so classic. I wish they would bring that back on cars. They should have done that on the new Z06 maybe.
This car is so beautiful. And the only thing that is a problem is it's quite slow. A few Americans, it's perfect because it gets to about 60 mile an hour and then that's it. Triumph TR3A, very pretty, very British sports car.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Daimler Dart SP250. Ex-police, not this one, but the British police used to use them.
Really? In convertible form like this?
100%, yeah. They used to
wow.
And it also has a V8 in it, which is kind of cool. This Mini is a very special car indeed. This was a barn find by an old lady whose husband died. He'd visited here, and he said in his will that he wanted us to have the car. We went over there, and we bought it, had it fully restored, spent years restoring it, because it's fully original. All of the cars you see in the collection are fully original. But this car, the chassis number on it is 003.
Wow.
So it's the third ever Cooper S ever made.
Look how small this thing is. And there's back seats. That's incredible.
Oh, yeah. But you know what's crazy? You and I could get in this.
Really?
No problem. Oh, God, yeah, they're huge inside.
Look how beautiful the front of the main garage is. And we're not done yet. There's more.
We're not. So the next room is the workshop, which is where we maintain and look after all of the cars. In the workshop, we have 3 ramps, all for different purposes. So this is the rebuild ramp. Any car on here is in for a fairly major work. Through the next room, you have an engine shop. So this is where we rebuild engine, gearboxes, differentials, anything with gears or very cautious bits. That
is one heck of an engine.
And that is from a 1903 car. That was a 1904. And that has just had a restoration. It's on a rig at the moment, but as you can see, it's very beautifully done. And it will now run perfectly when it goes back in the car.
Very cool.
So, 1939 V12 saloon. It's in the workshop for some minor maintenance, just to give it a check over, change the fuel, change the air filters, etc., etc. I said air filters. Change everything that's on it, give it a carb, freshen up, and ready for
this thing is gorgeous.
This is the Jaguar room. So it starts with the E-type, then it goes to the D-type, then it goes to the C-type in alphabetical order.
The D-types are so gorgeous. Not to say that either of the E or the C aren't, but...
For me, the C-type is the most beautiful, but the D-type is the quickest. So a lot of people like this. They're all original, they're all raced in period. Here we have the SS1 Tourer, we have the SS100 and the SS1 Airline. Tourer and Airline meaning the type of body. And then the first ever Jaguar technically was an Austin Swallow. So Austin Swallow, basically Austin making small cars, Swallow and Sidecar making luxurious sidecars. They came together to make a luxurious small car. They then separated and Sidecar and Swallow made SS cars. After the war, SS had to change their name to Jaguar.
I can't imagine why. Look at this. The red horns. They should do that on modern cars. And also, we need more cool classic emblems. They used to have the coolest emblems back in the day. Look at that little swallow.
It's cool, isn't it?
It is pretty cool.
We have the MG room. We have the TD, which you're looking at now. It's just an MG TD. You have the MG PA. No, sorry, that's a PA, that's a TD. They're brother cars and were built pretty much at the same time, I believe. And yeah, basically to have the history of MG in one room is quite cool. So you have the K2, which is this green and dark green car. And then later on, they made the faster version, but incredibly rare, the K3.
Oh, I love the
was
dash.
Supercharged.
And is this the K3 next to it?
K3. This is my mum's race car.
Your mom's race car. That is pretty cool.
And believe it or not, my mum lapped Lewis Hamilton in this. And the reason for that is he was breaking down. But nevertheless, Austin Healey 3000, very British, very iconic sports car. MGA and the MGB. This is an MG speed van. This is a mechanics vehicle for the MG race team. Now, there's only one of them in the world. And what do we have it as? Well, the mechanic was 4 foot tall. So, believe it or not, it was built for a 4 foot tall mechanic, and it is absolutely tiny.
Oh my God. Oh, there's no way you could drive this. That is unbelievable.
It's ridiculous.
Have you ever tried?
We can drive it because we can take the seat out, slide it back, and then almost drive it, but it is still...
That is very cool. The next room we are headed to is probably my favorite in the entire museum. And I think you'll see why in a second. This room is honestly so darn cool. So for those of you who didn't know, Lamborghini originally started as a tractor company. And I love the fact that this isn't repainted. They came from the factory, sometimes in Gulf livery.
No.
No?
That is incorrect.
All right.
I'm going to teach you...
Why have I seen so many Gulf livery Lamborghini tractors?
Because the Gulf livery was taken from Lamborghini. So Lamborghini originally had this as the company colours. And what happened was after Lamborghini wanted to start changing their colours, Gulf said, because your brand is so big, we'd like to use your colours. And then they took the colours from Lamborghini. So Gulf livery is not, it's a Lamborghini livery.
Unbelievable.
Sidebar, shall we see if this old Gulf starts?
Sounds just like an Aventador.
The Renault van, or the Chanterie van, I didn't say so, Fun fact for you all, the Renault van, the bane of a lot of British people's nightmares on the M25, this was the first one, and originally they didn't all come in white. What happened was you would walk into the Renault room, or the Renault dealer, it wasn't really a dealer, you'd say to the man at Renault, right, here is my company colours, that's the colour I want the van, and that's what would happen. So it meant that all of these vans were totally different. They all had different brand names on them, they all had different colours, and they have the biggest engine you could possibly imagine, huge. Check this out, right? So you've heard of V12s, you've heard of V10s, you've heard of W16s. Have you ever heard of the hairdryer? So it was the downfall of this
What on
Renault
earth
van.
is that? This is cool. Tow truck?
Indeed, 1925, yep, correct. 1925 Ford Model TT pickup truck. So this was the first ever recovery vehicle. It was originally in Dillsburg, Pennsylvania. And apart from the chain, this is exactly how it was, because this is the fully original car. And if anyone's ever driven a Ford Model T, please call me. I don't know how to drive this.
Imagine calling AAA. I don't know if you have AAA out here, and it's a towing company, and this pulls up.
Towed that, so.
Really?
Oh, God, yeah.
Wow.
So we've got a Morris 10.4. Now this is the prime example of a car that a lot of the viewers here will probably be switching off. But this car is the prime reason why we collect classic cars. This car was owned by one family since new, right? We have a history file that is about 10 books wide. This guy was obsessed with the car, and we are the second owners of this car. So you're buying a piece of history, not just a Morris 10.4, not just an old car that's boring. You're buying a piece of history that has been passed on to another generation. So
How cool is this badge?
this is to see the temperature of the radiator in the water.
No way.
Yeah, so
Built into the badge. That is so cool.
We have the Porsche Tractor. For those of you who don't know, which Parker was earlier. Porsche
Calling me out.
I did, I'm calling you out. We'll be boxing soon enough. This actually was the thing that started Porsche. Porsche Tractors. This is an AP18. Also, one family since new. So if you think this was before Porsche even made cars. We've got the Leyland Lynx, or as we call it, a pub vehicle. So this was when Shell and BP teamed together. Before there were many petrol stations, they used to hand deliver cans as advertisement to the maybe 100 people in the whole of the UK and Ireland who'd have cars. So
How's that for an advertisement? A beautiful hand-painted mural.
very pretty.
That is very cool.
I mean, personally, I've seen better artwork, but it's not bad.
What is that?
That, for the British people, will be loving that. That is the Gruffalo. And the Gruffalo was a kid's book. And I know Parker's probably going, what the hell is this going on?
Yeah, this is...
But
I like it
people
though.
in Britain, the Gruffalo was a big kid's story. That belonged to the lady who wrote the Gruffalo and is also signed by her. So you watch, please. This is me asking people on Parker's channel. Comment down below if you remember the Gruffalo.
This room is so cool. So tell me about some of the priceless stuff in here.
This is the shop. We call it the shop because, well, it looks like a shop, duh. But also we can shut the door, lock it, so that when we have car shows and events, people don't take things, which unfortunately people do. There are multiple cans that basically, think about it this way, whenever you've serviced your own car, you've never once kept a can, never once. I'd encourage you to, just keep it. Keep one of them and leave it in the corner somewhere, because one day, prime example, this Castrol can, that would have been a normal Castrol can. That can, maybe 10 years ago, was maybe £5. It's now 250 quid.
Wow.
Yes, okay, it's not a big jump, but it's a piece of history. Moving forward, because everyone loves this thing, this is a till, and it took a lot of engineering, but what noise does a till make? It goes ching, right? So how do you engineer it to sound like that?
Wow.
Absolutely perfect. Absolutely.
That was nice.
It was nice.
And you were saying earlier that this is one of the first Shell oil...
I believe, don't necessarily quit, yeah, he quotes me on it. He's calling me out. I believe this is one of the earliest Shell oil cans.
Wow.
I believe so. So, yeah. You can always tell because it's got like this weird...
Nice man on the back, yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like, basically it was meant to be, the man was meant to have like ball joints, so it's meant to show that it's lubricating the ball joints, so...
Don't know if that quite came off, but...
Yeah, exactly.
What are these? Tire patches?
Tyre patches, yeah, so they are motor repair patches, or that's what they were called. little bits of rubber that you'd stick on a hole in the tyre and it would fix the tyre. Now we've got plugs, but you know, back in the day.
And is this the last guy that you gave it to her over here?
Which one? Yes, it was. Yeah, yeah, it was indeed. He's pretty happy. He hasn't stopped smiling. He hasn't gone anywhere, so he's clearly loving it.
So to end off this absolutely incredible tour, we're going to take a closer look at the Koenigsegg Regera, one of my favorite cars, and actually one of the only Koenigsegg's that I haven't actually gotten a ride in or driven. And it's got this feature called Auto Skin, whereby it is the first ever supercar to have fully robotic body panels. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. Oh, that's the cold start. No! That's not the cold start I was hoping for. Wow. Transformer hypercar. It does not get any cooler than that. Oh my gosh. Koenigsegg claims that it only adds 10 pounds to the car in order to motorize all of its body panels. And that is so worth it. Look how wicked it looks with everything opened up. Let's go ahead and take a look at that 5-liter V8 in the back. Quite loud, in a good way.
It's a good noise, it quietens down. Bespoke blue Alcantara, gold trim, 24 karat gold leaf, bespoke blue carbon fibre. Oh yeah, and diamonds in the lacquer.
Oh, okay, as you would.
As you would.
In case you haven't noticed, yeah, this car isn't just blue, but it's completely exposed blue carbon fiber. And back we go. Check it out. I didn't realize the wing actually folds into the body. Wow. That is pretty trick. You can also activate auto skin or show mode by double clicking the back of the key. By the way, how cool of a key is this? Don't want to drop that. That is so cool. Thank you, Transformer Key. So he said it's a hybrid. Check out where the charge port is on the Regera. That is so cool. Oh, sorry, officer. I didn't know my number plate was down. I was just charging. Well, guys, there you have it. One of the coolest car collections I have ever seen in my entire life. Special thanks to Zach of Zach's Garage for making this video possible. I've got a link to his Instagram in the description below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video a quarter of the amount that I enjoyed filming it. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you next video.